Every year, usually during our graduation ceremonies, UBC has the honor of bestowing honorary degrees upon individuals who, in the opinion of the university community, have fit the criteria of excellence and eminence in their chosen field. Dick Fletcher exemplifies these characteristics, and it is our pleasure to grant him an honorary degree. Dick Fletcher has led a long and distinguished career as a professional civil engineer and as a leadership volunteer within a wide range of public and professional service. After graduating from the University of Saskatchewan in 1969, he went to work for the city of Whitehorse as its first city engineer. He moved to the Okanagan Valley in 1984 to begin work with urban systems, providing services to municipalities, regional governments, indigenous communities, irrigation districts, and private sector organizations throughout Western Canada. Universally respected within his profession, he's particularly well known for his skilled and collaborative work to build capacity and fulfill infrastructure and economic development opportunities for Indigenous communities, highlighted by over 25 years of service to Westbank First Nation. Additionally, his role as a key influencer in the formative years of UBC Okanagan must also be highlighted. In 2004, he co-chaired an Okanagan partnership group of regional engineering and IT industry professionals who successfully made the case for the establishment of an engineering school at UBCO. I am pleased to add that he continues to serve UBC today in the Faculty of Applied Science as a member of the Dean's Advisory Committee. His record of leadership within his profession is particularly extensive. The highlights include leading engineer Canada's NAFTA Implementation Initiative meeting with the Mexican government and USA national engineering bodies. He also represented Engineers Canada at international boards and negotiated reciprocal agreements with other economies. His many distinctions include fellowships in the country's leading professional organizations, including the Canadian Academy of Engineers. In recognition of his extraordinary achievements and contributions to both his profession and community, we are pleased to confer the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, upon Richard Allen Fletcher. It now gives me great pleasure to ask Dr. Fletcher to say a few words.
Chancellor, President, Deputy Vice Chancellor, my thanks to UBCO for conferring such an honorable award to me. But I have to say, I stand here accepting it on behalf of the many people with whom I've had great relationships that have helped me through my career and life. First and foremost, my wife, Joni, of over 50 years. Hard to believe that we were married after I got through first year on the second try, and we carried on. In those days, in my days, there were no student loans. They hadn't come out, hadn't been invented yet. So, and there were no credit cards. So if you were going to university, you either had to have funds or some other means of support. Fortunately, Joni had her RN, and working on advanced surgical teams at the University of Saskatchewan Hospital, she funded my engineering education and has supported me through every venture in life since, including raising our two now grown children, Charmin and Chad, who she successfully also kept away from too much engineering. I would never be standing here if it hadn't been for her with me. Although I'm not an educator, my international experience with other countries and their education systems had led me to understand what a great standard we have in Canada for university education, particularly in engineering where I practiced. And you are all graduating with degrees that are well recognized and world class. And that is a very fortunate thing. Well, you're graduating into a very unique world economy due to the COVID-19. In my day, I had a similar minor situation. In my graduating year, we had decided that we would stay in Saskatchewan near family and friends. So in February, I accepted a position with the small municipal consulting firm I had worked with in the summers. Then in April, the provincial government decided that they would not be funding any capital projects for municipalities that year. So in May, when I showed up for work, there wasn't any. Plan B already. Fortunately, Joni's best friend in nursing had gone to work in the hospital in Whitehorse and was sending back glowing reports of mountains and the rivers and the activities and the young people. So when an ad showed up in our local newspaper for an engineer for the city of Whitehorse, I jumped at it. I remember going up to the interview. When you take the north approach to the Whitehorse Airport, you fly over Lac La Barge. Now, Robert Service is one of the few poets that I really resonated with. And so when we flew over Lac La Barge, the cremation of Sam McGee came to mind, and I had to have that job. Fortunately, my interview was successful, and it was an interesting time. Turned out that the city of Whitehorse had never had a city engineer, and of course, I had never been one. So we worked it out over 4 years. It was a great experience. We loved the North, and we always say we must have gotten at least 10 years of life experience in those 4 years. Volunteering to serve my engineering profession ultimately led me to being on teams engaged in international aligning of standards. And that also helped me realize the quality of our education, but also the quality of our regulation in our country. My involvement with UBCO is a prime example of relationships. The late Dr. Martin Wedepool, Dean of Applied Science Emeritus of UBCO, had retired to Kelowna when in 2005, the province announced that UBCO was to be formed. Martin immediately saw the possibility and the potential of an engineering school being included at UBCO. We quickly formed a group of people, Martin, Jack Vanderstar, Dr. Andrew Hay of Okanagan College, and others, predominantly engineers, to move on the initiative. We undertook an industry scan and prepared a document making the case, which was presented to the University of BC and was successful. Our group has since then assisted from the industry side to try and help the school evolve, and are just tremendously proud of what it has come to be. Not only are the faculty and staff great educators, as you know from getting your degrees, but they are also working diligently to solve regional problems for our communities. And these are very essential initiatives, both for our region, but also for the world. To those of you graduating with your first degree and going on to work with it, you now have the knowledge to solve the problems of humankind. Now you have to develop the skills of communication so that you can understand what the needs are and properly apply that knowledge. So you need to build relationships. Remember, you first need to properly identify the problem, then determine the right solution for the problem and do it properly. And today properly means a holistic type of solution. So keep that in mind. In closing, my fellow graduates of 2020, in achieving your degree, I leave you with this. Your education is an investment. I challenge you to manage it properly so that it will result in great returns for you and for humankind. If in this digitally connected world, don't forget the human factor. If 2020 has taught us anything, it's that digital connections will hold for a while, but they will not replace the value of true personal connections and communications. Find time to contribute your skills as a volunteer. It will be rewarding for you and your community. Finally, Keep positive and explore opportunities that challenge you. I wish you all the best. Thank you.